You can see how this color is brighter as compared to the foundation that we used. So the concealer color anyway has to be I'll tell you actually about the foundation. So the foundation that I'm going to use for Akriti today is Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous foundation. Let me show you what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. So the Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous foundation, and this is in shade 315N. The brush that I'm going to use today is Forever 52, and this is PX041. You can see that it has a flat base and an angle to it. So I'm going to use that angle to pick up the product and start putting the product right here. You can see that this particular foundation is a perfect match for my model today, especially when you're working with brides on their morning events. You don't want to change the color of their color, actually their complexion, not too light, because everything will show in the sun. So once it starts showing that she has a lot of foundation on because she looks like too bright or too tanned from her original color, the makeup does not look natural. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that her makeup looks as close to her skin as possible. Again, I'm just taking a little bit quantity every time with the angle like this, and I'm pushing the product into her skin using dabbing motions. I do not use any sort of sweeping motions on the face, and mostly 90% of the makeup by me is done with dabbing motions. It just ensures that nothing moves underneath. So I'm in complete control of the product that I'm putting, the quantity that I'm putting, and the way I'm putting it on the face, that I have not tried to change the color of my model today. So what I'm going to do is, for a little bit of brightening, I am going to use a slightly lighter color concealer for her. So whatever is left, I'm going to just take it on her neck. So you want to cover all this area that you can see that I'm covering. So I'm just going to stop here. We will be perfecting this with a sponge, so we can leave it for now. All right, so the concealer that I'm going to use on her is this particular one. I'm going to start with this one and then see if I need to mix it. So this one is MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, and this is in shade NC30. Yeah, NC30. We're going to take a little bit and test it out. You can see how this color is brighter as compared to the foundation that we used. So the concealer color anyway has to be at least one shade lighter than the foundation that you're using. But for my model today, since her foundation was a perfect match, I'm just using a little bit of like 2 shades lighter concealer as compared. So once your client presses their lips, that is when this area stretches and you will be able to put your product properly. And we've covered all our color corrector, and that is what we want to do with our concealer today. So I'm going to take a little bit more, put a little bit on the bridge of her nose, then I'm going to do a little bit under her eyes, and in the same dabbing motions I am going to place this product right here. Very, very thin layers. We don't want to work with thicker layers and then keep on working blending it out, because obviously we put a lot of products. We don't want to do that. So we want to put a very, very light layer and then work with it. All right, so the sponge that I'm going to use today is this particular one. This is by MAC Cosmetics. It's really nice, it's very soft and spreads the product very nicely. So I'm going to start with the forehead. Could you put your chin down slightly? As you can see that there's a line of product that is left. I might not want to actually use my sponge. I will try and use this particular brush right here. This is by Bobbi Brown. It's a full coverage touch-up brush. So it has very, stable brushes, so it's not a fluffy brush, so it does the job very nicely. So whenever you want to use cream products, you want something which is not as fluffy and has firm bristles so that it can spread the cream product nicely onto the face. So every time you're going to work under anybody's eyes, you want to ask your client to look up. That's the only way the eye stretches and you're able to spread the product underneath. And what I'm just trying to do is I'm trying to overlap the lines where I've used the concealer so that there's no place where you can see that this is the place where the concealer was placed, and this is the area where the foundation was placed, so that everything looks like one. You want to take your time with this step, do not rush it, and just make sure that everything looks even, because once you set the products with the powder, you won't be able to go back and work on this step. But this area, I want to brighten it. And just to lift her eyes, I am going to put a little bit of concealer right here and right here, just to give her a lifted eye look. Back to the camera, please. Back to the ceiling. All right. So just for her inner corners, I'm going to use the same brush that I was using earlier from Bobbi Brown and kind of drag this particular product right here onto her eyes, just to spread it out a little bit and to ensure that there's no blotch of product at one particular place. So anything you need to perfect, you can do it with this particular brush. I am using a little bit of circular motions also, I hope you can see, and stretch the skin like this. Use some circular motions, try to get rid of any line that there is under the eyes that could come because of the concealers that we've used in the cream products. Just blend out the rest of the face quickly and start with the loose powder to set the eyes. So that's a very, very important step, to set the under eyes with the loose powder. So the